I will now call to order the Library Board of Trustees, Southern California Logistics Rail Authority, Southern California Logistics Airport Authority, Redevelopment Agency, Victorville Water District, and the City Council of the City of Victorville. As customary, we will start our meeting with the invocation. That'll be given by Pastor Mariano Vargas, Streams of Hope Church, and that will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Victorville Police Chief Captain Reynolds. Rise, please.
I'd like to thank the mayor and the city board for this opportunity in the city of Victorville. Heavenly Father, as we come before you, Lord, we come before you seeking wisdom, seeking mercy, and seeking grace. The Bible says that we may boldly come into the throne room of God to obtain these things, that we come seeking your grace, that we would have wise counsel, wise direction, and we would find favor in the eyes of God to do godly things for the city of Victorville, that the city and the people may prosper, and that you may receive all the glory and all the praise. In Jesus' name. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We don't have a special presentation. As some of you may know, we have a banner program that recognizes our military servicemen and women who are serving overseas in Afghanistan and Iraq. This program was started about a year and a half ago. We have over 65 banners, and what we do is we present the banners when they leave and they deploy to go overseas. When they come back, the banners such as those are then given back to the veteran on their return. Today we have one presentation. We have Thomas Perez III. He's in the Army. He's in Iraq, and his wife April will be accepting a certificate on his behalf. April?
A little nervous. First of all, I want to thank the mayor and the city council. I really appreciate it. I applaud you all for doing this program. It means a lot to us and my family, my in-laws and my brother-in-laws and my sister-in-laws. It means a lot to my husband. He knows he's getting this. It's important for families, military families, to get this type of award. With their families being gone, the soldiers being gone, it's hard for us. So please continue to do this. It means a lot to see their name up there, knowing that they're gone. You know, my husband's been gone. He's a 400-day deployment, and it's very hard. He's had a long career with the Army. He's been there He started in 1982. He has 23 years in. He's been, he's gone to the Grenada invasion. He's been in Panama. We're very proud of him. My family's very proud of him. This is his second deployment in Iraq. It's very hard. He was there before things started the first time, and we had no communication there for a while. And knowing what was going to happen to him, it means a lot. And knowing we have family support. I see, today I'm in here and I see the emblem up there, and God we trust. We trust that he's going to be safe, that he's taking care of them, and that everyone over there is going to be safe, and they're all going to be coming home to us. And again, I applaud you for doing this for us and for him. I thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and let's thank Thomas again for his service to his country, and hopefully soon all those banners will come down and all our young men and women who are overseas will return home safely. Thank you very much. The first order of business is our public comment, and the public comment will be for all the authorities and boards that we represent. The time limit is 3 minutes. I have for item number 1, which is public comment, I have about 15 cards at 3 minutes apiece. That would take us over an hour, and or almost an hour. So if whoever's speaking, if it's going to be a repetition of some other person that was before you, if you can just hold that, that will free up that time for someone to have something different to add to the testimony here. So having said that, before I open, I know there's a lot of people here, and there may be some emotional issues that may come up. The chambers here will be, the business will be conducted in an orderly manner. No cheering or jeering or outbursts of that nature, please. We do have business to conduct here, and we need to get through this, and everybody is afforded the 3 minute. And so with that, we'll open up the public comment section, and we have Al Cotillo. Al? Al, you have item number 1? Al Cotillo.
I come here for 2 reasons tonight. One, to get the DIFE through your heads. When people move in here with a new mobile home and they don't have a permanent foundation, it's not the permanent foundation who uses the city, who uses the roads, who uses the schools. It's the people who live in the mobile home. You can't charge people a DIF fee that are moving out of town. You have to charge people a DIF fee who are moving into town. So if you charge them a DIF fee when they bought their mobile home, it would be in their payment. When they wanted to put the permanent foundation in, there wouldn't be no hassle. It would be a lot easier on you guys. I don't know why you can't get that through up here. I really don't. It's very simple. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is if Terry Caldwell and Mike Rothschild really care about the city of Victorville, you would both resign, okay? And we can get some people in here.
Please.
It's nothing personal with you. With you, I won't say what I think about you. But believe me, it's nothing personal with you. I just see the city's going to hell. There ain't nobody doing nothing about it. And there's other people that would be glad to take your place that knows what they're doing. And if you don't, I have a recall going, and I was going to get 50 people to help me, And just in here tonight, I got more than 50 people. So if you don't want to resign, we'll recall you. Thank you.
Next we have David Lopez. David Lopez.
How you doing this evening? I was here a few meetings ago, and I was talking about the dispensary for medical cannabis, and I created a business proposal that I would like to turn into the members to look in and look over and see if we can get this on the agenda. And can I pass one out now, or
To the clerk,
have it,
please.
okay. All right, so anyway, like I said before, this is a good thing. There's a lot of patients up here. I've talked to many up here where this medical cannabis is helping. Also, the County of San Bernardino, starting August 8th, I believe, is going to start issuing certificates and ID cards now. Also, I also understand that the Sheriff Department has a new system in their vehicles now that they can identify when they pull over somebody, and now this person has medical cannabis, and he claims, I'm a patient. Now we have a certificate, we have an ID. You give it to the officer, now he can verify through his unit, he can go in his system and see and verify that that is true, that I am who I am, and I have a right to have what I have, as long as it's not over the legal amount, which is a good thing, because now if you pull over somebody and they have something in their car, and they can't verify who it is, or they're on, a patient, well, you just took one illegal user off the street, which is a good thing. So there's now a system there to separate the illegal user from the medical prescribed user who has disabilities from this, whatever their ailments may be. It's a good thing. It can bring a job opportunity up here for some people. I have no idea how big this thing can go. There's some in the back of the booklet. There's some information from the state on guidelines and so on, and some things that you guys can read. I'd put what I would put on my business door. The hours. I don't want to put an old flashy signs if it went through, and I don't want to display. Here I am. It's got to be very low key, and that's my intent. I don't want big advertisement on this
David, you
building.
have 30 seconds, please.
So anyway, I hope you look at this and you consider this, and I'll be checking in again, and we'll continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Eileen Silva. Please.
Hello, good evening. I'm here in regards to the immigration, the whole thing that's going on with that. I feel like we are getting treated like animals, like dogs. It is wrong. We are going against the United States. This is what we are about. What happened to our freedom? I understand there's many illegals, but they have rights too. They are people. We are all as one. We need to stick together. Right now, there is times that are so hard for the whole country, not just one individual, not just one race, but the whole country. We are all in debt. We are all suffering. It's hard. Look at our men fighting for us, dying for us. They're as well Hispanics. Their background comes from Mexico, and they're fighting for what? For our country, what we know is right. And we know as human beings that what's trying to get past is wrong. I may be young and I may not know a lot, but I know that this is wrong. And I'm going to stand up and believe and speak in what I believe in. And I'm going to be the voice for every single Mexican, Hispanic, Asian, Black that is scared out there to speak up. because I'm not going to use a weapon. I'm not going to use my fist. I'm going to use my voice as my weapon. But as a human being, as a Hispanic, I'm going to speak up for my relatives, my father, and all my friends, and not just people I know, but everybody else, because I'm going to stand up for what I believe is right in the United States of America. Thank you for your guys' time.
Thank you. Please. Dorothy Miller.
Hello, Mayor and Councilwomen, or men and women. An employee or an employer of a former Victorville city employee told that this employee was let go and received a huge payoff, so the employee would not give out any information about the city and sign a form agreeing to that. Why? What does the city have to hide? What a bunch of crooks is the way I look at it. What has happened to our budget? The last audit found things wrong, so you fired them and go back to the old crooks that will give you a good, clean audit, but not true and honest facts like before. I had received no response about the Vegas trip that one of the council members took. We have no idea. Did we pay for that too? And then we have another one that was out of the country. Did we pay for that too? Now, there was another one that was out of the country, but he come and said it was his vacation. He come to me and explained to me, and I feel that is an honest person, not somebody that's going to hide everything. This city has just really gotten out of hand. Mr. Manager, what about the grand opening of Sunset Ridge Park and Fire Station? Is that still on? Anywhere? Any when? How? Are we ever going to get that going? Something's wrong. I would like these answers in writing. And I really hope and pray that things get straightened out in this city, but it don't look like it's getting too much better yet. And I'd like to see that. Thank you.
Thank you. Please. Jana Lewis. Jana Lewis.
Good evening. I'm here representing one neighborhood out of many. I don't know how many other neighborhoods in the city are having the problem that we are. My family and I moved here 3 years ago. Beautiful neighborhood, quiet. The second year we started having problems. The problem are rentals that have owners who are out of the area, who don't seem to care what's going on. They just want the money. The third year, everything hit the fan. We can't get help. We call the police. They say, call code enforcement. Call code enforcement, call the police. Now, I have nothing against the police department. I know they have a lot of priorities. But code enforcement is the problem. And that's why I'm here tonight. We call. They say they'll be out. No matter how difficult the problems are, they're getting so escalated. We had 20 to 30 people fighting in our neighborhood. The police stopped that, thank goodness. We have one particular rental right now where the people don't care what they do. They're parking on the sidewalk. They're double parking in the middle of the street. Our children are afraid to go out and play. We have to supervise them because of the language, the screaming, the yelling, the loud music that goes on. It's out of control. It's escalating. We need help. I began to think that perhaps we had a very small department in code enforcement. But coming here tonight, I saw 20 or 30 trucks out there. Where's the help when we need it? They say they'll come out tomorrow. They don't. You call them. Another neighbor calls them. Well, in 3 days. 3 days comes. We're still calling. It takes anywhere from a week to 2 weeks, and then nothing gets done. There are many violations going on. People that have expired license plates, no license plates. Businesses that are going on with cars in the neighborhood, and the people aren't licensed for doing this. Where's the help? That's why I'm here. I'm hoping that you can help us. I'm sure there's got to be more neighborhoods out there having this problem. And the landlords are not helping. And they're always unavailable when code enforcement tries to get a hold of them. We're tired of being put off. We're at the point where we want to sell, but we can't sell, because if people come into our neighborhood, they're going to take one look, and I know how they'll feel, because I've been on that end too, where I've gone into a neighborhood that seemed nice.
Yeah, 20 seconds left.
But there'd be one house, and that's all it takes. We need more codes about landlords being out of town. There has to be something that can get this together and help our people. Thank you.
Thank you. And the appropriate department head will be contacting you. Gary Douglas.
Honorable Mayor, council members, I come here on behalf of American Veterans. I'm here to share that we have opened an office. We've been in existence since 1944 as a nonprofit organization serving America's heroes. This is a great segue of what you've done here. Just so you know, we will have 2 service officers available to serve all veterans of all eras. We don't have any World War I, but World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and of course, Iraqi freedom, Afghanistan. So just letting you know, we are here in town, and we plan to be here for a long, long time, serving our veterans and our heroes here in Victorville and the Victor Valley. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you. Matt, it's either Carol or Corral. Carol? C-A-R-I-E-L, I guess, or C-A-R-R-A-L. Matt?
Honorable Mayor, council members, I just want to follow up on Jana's comments about the Blue Mesa neighborhood problems. When we moved in, it was a very quiet neighborhood, and since then, the neighborhood has basically gone into ruins. We have elderly people in our neighborhood who feel defenseless, who don't want to say anything. They're intimidated by these younger people who've moved in, who are acting like gang members. Our neighborhood is no longer safe in the opinions and feelings of most of its residents. We have a wonderful sheriff's department here who responds in a very timely manner, but we do not have a wonderful code enforcement department. My suggestion is, if the city wants to save some money, that they would abolish the code enforcement department and put its responsibilities on the sheriff's department. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Tim Palmer?
Good evening, council members. I'm going to speak on immigration. I don't know, like, what's going on or whatever, but the Minutemen or whoever, I believe at one time they were immigrants themselves, so I don't know, like, who are they to be telling who can be here and who can't, you know. In the Pledge of Allegiance it says liberty and justice for all, you know. I believe that you guys should, you know, stand up and back that up. Also on the code enforcement, I believe they're doing a pretty crappy job too. And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
Raymond Bueno?
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I would like to speak on immigration as well. I find it great that a family could come to the agreement to a better life from where they've been used to such poverty, that they could find it in them to come to the United States and build and have a foundation and to work. That is the backbone to most of the jobs here that you guys, not you guys personally that are up here, but a lot of people that would not have it in them to do the works that are being done by these people, our people.
Please,
yes, that's a common
please, no
argument.
jury.
Yes, it is. But are we not equal under God, all of us? In God we trust. What profit has a man by the works in which he toils under the sun? Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. Now, I don't believe that this is self-seeking as far as wanting a better life for their families. This is wrong. I side with the sister in the green who has spoken about this earlier. You know, I feel very strong about this, and we need to step up and be men. How are you going to go and call yourselves men when there are people starving, when there are people who need to work? It is not a want, it's a need. I myself at a time became homeless, and you know what? I would begin to, you know, panhandle or strange it or whatever it is you want to call it, you know, asking for spare change. I would go to my own people, you know, who are from Mexico, and you know what? Even they wouldn't even give me a quarter. And you know what? I felt on your guys' behalf the way you guys feel as far as, you know what, these people shouldn't be here, this and that. And my people, it's all of our people. We're all one person, you know? And so I became very angry with the people of Mexico. But you know what? I repented from my way of thinking. That is to change your mind on how it is you thinking it's wrong, you know? And I now come to the agreement that, you know what, we are equal. And we all do deserve a chance. And whether you guys want to be the system, then be the system and step up to the plate and form an agreement that we can come to that would allow them to be in our country. Thank you.
Thank you. Please. Okay, please. Okay, I'm going to ask you to please refrain from the jeering and cheering. Okay, let's respect whatever issues are out here, and let's have respect for that. Ruben Riston? Heveston? Okay, so you, okay. Heveston? Ruben Heveston? Please. Are you Ruben Heveston?
I think you're asking for Robin Vincent, but we're doing
Robin?
a presentation.
Okay,
and I'd like
Robin?
to go first and then.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Robin can go first, and then I have your own card. When I call you, then you can go.
Can I go first?
No. I have it in the order that were turned in. Well, that's the order that was given to me.
Okay. My name's Robin Vidston, and I would just like to state, in our country, we have 14 million unemployed American citizens. We are coming here tonight to ask the City Council to adopt the E-Verify program. This is a database maintained by the Department of Homeland Security where potential new hires can be checked to make certain that they're in our country lawfully. In addition, I would just like to also say to citizens, be mindful of who you hire. Hire Americans. And I'd like to add, there is no skin color for an American. But when you, for instance, if you're a contractor, hire our American youth. Take them under your wing. Mentor them. Frequent eateries and restaurants where they hire our American citizens, our American teens. My niece is dating a young man, a high school graduate in Fallbrook. He went out and made a flyer up, and he charges less than the foreign national gardeners. And he's doing a great gardening business this summer. He's got 50 clients. So there's an example where Americans can take back our jobs. And I would just like to also add, I am very offended as an American to have individuals attack me because I want our laws upheld. Who is the real culprit? countries like Mexico that abuse their own population, that is the country that should be the center here of criticism. Where are these individuals protesting in Mexico? There's a town, Oaxaca in Mexico, where those brave Mexicans are standing up to their government. They've even given their lives. In Iraq, you have people standing up to their government. Rather than come to our country illegally and then criticize us law-abiding Americans, I would say stand up in your home country. Start a revolution in Mexico if you have to. The entities to blame here are, for example, the corrupt Mexican government, our corrupt government that allows illegal immigration, and then the employers who exploit them. This is an unholy trio that is working against we the people. I'm actually much more like, say, a day laborer than I am President Obama or President Calderon. These entities of our governments are exploiting all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Raymond Herrera.
My name is Raymond Herrera. I am the National Rally spokesman for the Minuteman Project. I'm not only nationwide, I'm international. I've started riots in Mexico by speaking the truth to them on Spanish TV. I've had people cross the border and come up to me and say, Raymond, you're the only one telling the truth. You can go to YouTube and look at a Maywood rally a year ago, and you'll see them protesting Vicente Fox in Spanish, talking to me about they want to go home. They want the jobs when they go home. They want to live in their country, and they know that the American people are livid with them, and they have every right. You don't believe me? Go to YouTube and find it. But furthermore, we do have a problem here in America. The displaced American worker, the displaced American. I feel for these people. I love Mexico. I love the people of Mexico, in Mexico. I think that they should find the courage to stand up in their own country and take that democracy and do something with it instead of berating America, instead of coming here and displacing me and my family. These people that stand here this evening that are against illegal, that are for illegal aliens on American soil, they're the ones that should be standing in Mexico saving their people. Instead, they run like cowards for a greenback dollar on the American side of the border. I do not believe I've ever seen a Mexican in uniform in the military, or an African American, or an Anglo, or an Irishman. I've been on the battlefield. I picked up body parts. I got a lot of men on that 58,000 in Washington, D.C. I know a lot of them. All I ever saw was American warriors in an American uniform fighting for the American creed. Why I'm here today is to ask that the city of Victorville e-verify its employees, to e-verify any contractor or subcontractor, any business that wants to conduct business with you, to be e-verified, and also for you to set up a program where when you issue a license to a business, that they have their employees e-verified. There's a lot of American high school kids that can't work at McDonald's, at Jack in the Box, can't do the jobs that Vincent and I did when we were kids. Why? Because there's a 50, 60-year-old illegal alien standing there. There's a big difference between an alien and immigration. Plato said in his utopian society that illegal aliens should be deported immediately, and I believe in Plato. Furthermore, on this E-Verify program, I held a rally to support it. Yeah, I got quite a few signatures here, okay, that want you to E-Verify your employees. You lead by
20
example.
seconds, please.
Exactly. And here is a photograph of the rally and a report of the rally. And I'll have you know that they were all Victorville residents, and they want more, and they want to get rid of this situation. We are tired of the complicity in this city council and other city councils in Washington and the state capital. And we're doing something about it. Believe
Your
me.
time's up.
The Minutemen. Who are we? We're mom and dad, aunt and uncle, grandmother, grandfather.
Your time
we
is
are
up,
born
please.
of the American creed. We are blessed, red, white, and blue. We are the defenders of the American
Sir,
creed.
your
We
time
are
is
the
up.
defenders of America.
Gail Gonzalez.
Hello, Mayor and all of those around you. I'm here. School will be starting pretty soon. I live in Hesperia, but I have to frequent going through Victorville to Apple Valley. And I am tired of all the riffraff that hangs around Center Street Park. It's also accumulating at Home Depot. You take your little girls by there, and you don't know. We don't know if they're. I wouldn't care if they were purple people eater from Mars. There's a certain place to go and look for work, and it's not on the street corners, hanging out all day long with a junior high, a high school, and a grammar school right by. I'm sorry, I don't know who they are. You don't know who they are. Where did they come from? Is it a terrorist from Iraq or something getting ready to blow all the schools up? We don't know that either. And I am a proud mother of a son in Afghanistan, and he's brown. But I raise my children to do things right and follow the rule of the law, not to demand stuff if you break the law and then expect me to take care of it. But I would like to see Center Street Park cleaned up. Many people at my church have taken children away from the festivities and in the games and soccer and stuff from over there, because it is a disgrace. And many of the employees for the city of Victorville do not even drive by there on their way to work. They'll drive around it. And I'm a proud American. Thank you.
Thank you. Robert Betham? Okay.
Mayor and City Council, we're just, I've got a couple of items here to bring up to you. You know, one of my items is enough is enough, and I think that the county needs to take over the city. I've seen enough in this town. I've been here since 1988, and I would like to see the county taken over. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Please. Maxwell Britton. Maxwell.
Council members, Mayor, I'm just here on behalf of the American citizens, and I'd like to remind you fine folks that in the U.S. Code, we have law, and that law states that illegal immigrants can be fined or imprisoned if they end up in the United States of America up to $250,000 or jail time. When are we going to enforce the laws? I would like an answer to that question from the city council members and the mayor. And I would say that we got to start with the city and work our way to our government in Washington, D.C. that's not representing the people. We have a huge problem here, and we are ignoring it, and we're ignoring law. And if we continue to ignore law, what precedence does that set for the rest of the country? Thank you, and consider my comments.
Thank you. Sandy Brogan. Sandy Brogan.
Mayor and council members, I have several issues I want to address. First of all, I'd like to reinforce what the others have said about illegal immigration. We are a country of law, and our government, including local, is letting us down. We need to start using the E-Verify program and hiring citizens. With upwards of 21 million illegal aliens in the country and 14 million United States citizens out of work, to do otherwise is a crime. So enough has been said about that. Well, I don't know if enough can ever be said about that. We do need to start being lawful with our city ordinance and using the E-Verify program, making sure that the citizens hired are legal, or the employees that are hired are legal. And I also wanted to say about Center Street Park, I do agree with the lady who was talking about Center Street Park. That is a very serious issue. It's dangerous there. There are men there hanging around, drinking beer, urinating in the park. It's unsafe. It's a hazardous situation. So that needs to be addressed. But please, don't tear the park down. I know you guys like to tear parks down. Leave it up. Address the problem. Don't tear down the park. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Also, an issue from last week, when some money was slated for a medium housing project, and you guys decided to, in your wisdom, take $20 million and put that to your wastewater treatment plant, and now we're going to have yet another low-income housing project. That's not good for our city. That's going to bring more crime up here, and it's not going to help the citizens of Victorville. I've lived here since 1989, and the quality of life has gone downhill, especially in the last 2 years. The cameras, we spent $100 million or $100,000 on crime cameras. Why was that money spent on crime cameras? Last time I checked, cameras do not stop crime. We could have done with some more police officers to come out to stop crime. Also, another thing, I'm sorry about this, I have a whole list here. The layoffs.
You have 30 seconds.
Layoffs of city employees while we have a city manager that makes an exorbitant salary. That not only is financially irresponsible, it's just disgusting and shameful. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you. Ken Hoppins.
How are you tonight? I wasn't going to speak, but I just had to put my 2 cents in. Ryan, good to see you sitting there. Are you comfortable? Regarding this issue with immigration, I'm concerned for the citizens of this country. We should think of the citizens first. I know there's problems in other countries that want to come here. On 9/11, I flew to the Ukraine where I met a woman. We got married. I had to follow the rules. I had to pay the fees. I had a waiting list. This is how it's done. Dearly a citizen, now she's just waiting to take her test. It's another $700 for that. But this is the law of the land. We have to think of the citizens first. You as the city council members, you have to be fiscally responsible. You have to take care of the citizens first. We have problems with gangs and Section 8. I've been here 2 years ago with the same issue. We're still talking about it. We have to think about the good citizens of Victorville. I've been here since '86, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Raquel Rambula. Raquel Arambula. Somebody.
Sorry, that's my mom. Good evening. I wanted to speak on the immigration, and all I have to say is in Galatians chapter 3:28, it says, "There is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free, there is neither male or female, for we are all one in Jesus Christ." And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Well, we'll now go into our regular board meetings and authorities. The first one is the Library Board of Trustees, the agenda. Are there any revisions to the agenda? None? The next two is the Southern California Logistics Rail Authority and Southern California Logistics Airport Authority, and our chairman will chair those.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There are no revisions that I'm aware of to the Rail Authority agenda.
No revisions.
That would conclude the Rail Authority agenda. As to the Airport Authority,
No revisions.
we have the consent calendar, item 3.
Move for approval?
Second. Favor?
Aye.
Item 4 is a request to approve $6,906,148 as a loan from SCLAA 2007 taxable housing bond proceeds to the Victorville Redevelopment Agency's Old Town, Midtown project. This is a companion item to RDA item 4. Should we take them together, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Questions or comments from members of the council?
Move for approval.
Second.
Vote. Unanimous. Item 5 is a request to approve an amendment to the agreement with Aventura Aviation for the lease of Building 733 at Southern California Logistics Airport.
For approval.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Rothschild, may I get a vote from you? Thank you.
That concludes the Airport Authority agenda, and I turn the Redevelopment Agency agenda back to Mayor Cabriales.
Next, we have the redevelopment agency agenda. Are there any revisions to the agenda?
No revisions.
We have the consent calendar.
Move approval.
Second. Mayor Pro Tem Rothschild on Councilmember Allman. Thank you.
Telling on me.
We took action on number 4. I will now go to item number 5.
Can I make an editorial comment on 4? We just passed an item that was low and moderate income housing. A number of you mentioned that. Just to let you know, the state requires a certain amount of money to be set aside for low and moderate income housing. That's irrefutable. That's every city in the state of California does that. How we spend it is somewhat of a discretion to every council. Here, we're using some of it to bring up the standards in the Old Town. We made a strong commitment in that area, so we're moving some money into that region and building up our low and moderate income housing along with the business component there. So it'll be basically a brand new footprint with nice affordable range of rents subsidized by the taxpayers here out of this 20% pot. And so that's how we're using the money. So some of you that are interested in that, there's very hard restrictions on that. If we don't spend it in the ways the state prescribes, they take it. So I'd rather have 5 of us up here maybe get upset with us from time to time and have us do it than have the state do it and mandate it down to you. Just to let you know, that was what was part of number 4 that just went by the board.
Thank you, Mike. Item number 5 is a request to approve the Foreign Trade Zone number 243 Site 4 Operator Agreement.
For approval?
Second. No second.
Next is the Victorville Water District agenda. Are there any revisions to the agenda?
No revisions.
Item number 3 is a request to authorize the purchase of 1,000 3/4-inch meters equipped with extra radios from Performance Meter Incorporated for the amount of $237,000 and $237.75.
Move for approval.
Second.
I hit it again. All right, I did it. Yeah, okay.
Item number 4, request to authorize the purchase of 1 8-inch meter assembly equipped with the radio from Performance Meter Incorporated for the amount of $27,731.25.
Move for approval.
Second. Councilmember Almond. Thank you.
Next, we have the City Council agenda. Are there any revisions?
No revisions.
Item number 3.
Mr. Mayor, before you enter into item number 3, I provide the insurance for Civic Entertainment, Inc., so I'll need to abstain on this one.
Okay. Item number 3 is a review hearing to evaluate the merit of this review and whether the Planning Commission erred in its decision regarding PLN 09-00019, Civic Entertainment Incorporated.
This is a review from the Planning Commission.
Was this the one I asked to pull? Excuse me, I got This is
This
Canaries?
one you
Okay.
Mr. Manager, the question had been asked, can any member of the council bring an item up? Is it considered an appeal or is it considered a consideration? It's under an appeal, section 18.80010 of the Victorville Municipal Code provides that any member of the Planning Commission or the City Council may within a particular time period call for review of any action by the Planning Director or the City Clerk by notice to the Planning Director of the City Clerk. Such notice was filed, and so the matter is before you as a review.
For me to do it, or you want
Like a brief recap?
Just highlight the issue of the containers in the.
Absolutely. At the regularly scheduled meeting held June 10th, 2009, the Planning Commission, by a vote of 3-2, approved this case to allow for the continued use of 4 storage containers in conjunction with an existing nightclub, as was stated. This was to be permitted for a period of 3 years, with the only requirement being additional landscaping. Basically, there's a history provided over several years' time. Canaries was allowed to have storage containers to keep the tables and chairs for Christmas parties, special events, things of that sort. The conditional use was permitted for 3 years in 2004. The storage containers are behind Canaries in extra parking areas, not required parking areas. In 2005, the Planning Commission approved a modification to allow just landscaping to screen them rather than a wall or fence. In 2007, the conditional use permit expired. In 2008, February of 2008, the Planning Commission voiced concerns over those storage containers still being over there for the length of time they were. In March, code enforcement began proceedings against them, and that's what brought the application before us. It was submitted in April 2009. As far as the actual hearing itself, staff presented 2 options, not knowing, with a partially new commission, not knowing exactly where the commission stood on the screening at this time. Option 1 was, as I stated, a temporary conditional use permit to expire within 3 years, which just required additional landscaping. Option 2 was a permanent conditional use permit, which would require block screening similar to our trash enclosure design for the city. Of course, the commission had another range of options, and they did during their discussions. There was discussion of building a permanent structure or addition to house that equipment, range from there to absolutely no screening indefinitely, and several things in between. As I stated, they voted 3-1 on the temporary conditional use permit for 3 years, no additional screening. And I believe the discussion at the time of that motion was, rather than require the walls within a certain amount of time, the applicant had suggested that he would like to do that when he could afford them, and the commission decided that, well, why not do the 3 years? If he doesn't do them by then we'll come back and revisit and require the walls or remove the containers at that time. And there was no opposition and no speakers on behalf of it other than the applicant.
I have a question. Now, those are behind the building, and they're really not visible from the street.
They are visible from both Bear Valley and the side street at an angle because of a lack of development. They aren't visible from straight on.
Well, and that basically is my point, is that we've given them ample time to mitigate this problem. You're not going to allow this in the downtown areas. It is a rather unsightly thing, is it there? And we still got some very serious development that needs to go on there. And that's a quality business. They ought to finish up their product, and the product is either put a permanent fence around there or a permanent structure to put the party containers and chairs and whatever. I think this temporary business has gone on long enough. It was a split decision on the Planning Commission. Had it been a unanimous decision, I would assume that 5 of them were sitting there with taking all that into consideration. For my part, I think we've given them adequate time, and they need to mitigate that one way or the other now before the rest of the real estate develops in and around that area. It's an important business, but it's an important add-on that needs to be done there. Well, that's it. I've asked for consideration to deny the temporary landscaping and require the either the permanent structure or the permanent fencing.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
He did say that if we did give him the extension for 3 years with additional landscaping, that he would go ahead and then put the block wall up around these containers.
Yes, but by that time we had agreed that at my discretion, it could be something less expensive if that were the case, that were similar to the faux block wall on Home Depot over here. But some type of permanent screening other than chain link with slats, because chain link is now prohibited in commercial zones also. But some type of permanent screen wall.
But you did
at
allow
our
him for
discretion.
3 years.
And he agreed to do that within that period. But there's nothing to hold him to in the conditional use permit, because that would have been the other one, because then there's no reason for the expiration. But he did say he was going to do it anyway.
Okay.
But in 3 years, it comes back out.
I'll bet you.
The technicality is in 3 years, if he doesn't do it, it comes up. But even if he does do it, we will have to still do a conditional use permit, because storage containers are not allowed, period, except seasonally. So the misunderstanding, I think, on behalf of the applicant is either way, he's going to be back in 3 years. He thinks he'll have the screening and the screen walls up before then.
He asked for this continuance because of financial strains on his business right now.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I'm inclined to uphold the Planning Commission action. And basically, it's, we're going through some tough economic times right now, and if he's had it there, when I go by, I don't even see the buildings back, or the structures back there. The Planning Commission gave him another 3 years, and at that time, or before that, he has to make the improvements. Is that correct?
Or remove the containers.
Oh, yeah. Or get rid of them, yeah. Well, I know Mike brought this item up.
I'll make a
Terry-
motion
Terry
before
might have some
we
comments,
dismiss
too.
it.
Always difficult for me to vote to overturn a decision of the Planning Commission where they've had a full hearing process, the benefit of the reports, and the public testimony. I must confess I'm torn, because on the one hand, it is tough economic times, and we want to do everything we can to help businesses stay alive, because the businesses employ people, and that's important to the local economy. On the other hand, I think it's somewhat of a dichotomy. Somebody who's lost their job and can't afford to water their lawn, which goes to seed, and we'll go out and cite them, and ultimately maybe even put a lien on their property because they're not conforming to city ordinances. Yet, apparently, we're prepared to make an allowance here because of economic difficulties. It's a real interesting tug and pull. But I must say that I have not heard enough that would cause me to vote to reverse or overturn a decision of the Planning Commission.
I'll make the motion, since I was the one that put it on the agenda. If it fails for lack of a second, that's fine too, but then I'll make the motion. I move B, a resolution entitled overturning the Planning Commission.
Is there a second? It fails for lack of a second. I would entertain a motion to adopt Resolution A.
Second.
Thank you. Item number 4 is public hearings. I will open up the public hearing on item number 4. It's a public hearing called to hear arguments for or against the introduction of ordinance number 2243. I will now call the Open up the public hearing. Anyone wishing to address the city council on item number 4, please come to the podium. Anyone for or against item number 4? I will now close the public hearing. Entertain a motion to
For approval?
Mayor Cabrialis.
we'll read the ordinance first.
Thank you. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Victorville amending Chapter 7.04 of Title 7 of the City of Victorville Municipal Code pertaining to animal licensing requirements and license fees.
Move for approval?
Second.
For clarification, that was introduction and waive further reading, correct? Thank you.
Item number 5, public hearing called to hear arguments for or against adoption of resolution number 09060. I will open up the public hearing on item number 5. Anyone wishing to speak for or against the item, please step up to the podium.
Good evening, council members, mayor. My name is Yvonne Bashak, and I'm here to protest the increase in the sewer fees. I'm so glad, Councilman Caldwell, that you were considering the economic impact on Canaries, a pretty thriving business up here. We, the homeowners here, there's so few of us left to have an increase. Is totally ludicrous going with all the stuff that's happened to us. So many of us have moved to Victorville to have a better quality of life, and it's gone down the tubes in the last couple of years. You have taxed us. You have increased our water trash bill. I mean, it started out when I got here. Excuse me.
Excuse me. Is this, you're probably here for item number 7?
I want to talk about all of it.
Well, item number 7 addresses the fees. This is just, this is a different item. It's not about the fees.
Sir, all of it, it concerns all the citizens of Victorville.
Well, do you want to wait for item number 7? Because that's what you're really here for the fee, please? Okay. Item number 5, I will now close the public hearing and entertain the adoption of resolution number 09060.
Move for approval.
Second.
Item number 6, it's a public hearing called to hear arguments for or against the adoption of ordinance number 2244. And I will now open up the public hearing on item number 6. And I have 2 cards for item number 6. Eugenia Calhoun. Item number 6.
Good evening, council and mayor. I'm here because I'm an elderly lady with a lot of problems with my health. My medical cannabis helps in so many ways. It makes my life worth getting up in the morning. The medicine the doctors had me on was dissolving bone and muscle and making me sicker. Now, we've already proven that most of us that have any knowledge of medical marijuana understands that it is a medicine for a lot of us. Okay, granted, a lot of medicines out there people abuse, whether they have a prescription or not. But I'm here to tell you that I try my hardest to abide by all the laws. My car is registered, I have a valid driver's license, I pay my bills on time, I come to council meetings. And I have to drive all the way to LA once a week to get my medicine. Now, I don't share it with anybody. I pay a ridiculous amount for it, which I shouldn't have to. But it helps me get through my day. Please don't take that away from me. Thank you.
Anthony Casaluccio?
Good evening again. It's a pleasure to speak to you last time and a pleasure this time. My name is Anthony Castelliccio, and I'm a resident of Phelan, California. I don't know if this is an open forum for discussion. Is it?
The public hearing, and you can speak for or against the item.
Okay. Is there any conversation between the council and
No, there was
the individual
not.
speaking? Okay. I wasn't able to get the parameters dialed in prior to my coming here. And with only 3 business days, by the way, thank you, City Attorney, for the courtesy call on Thursday evening as to aid me in getting here. Wasn't able to assemble the professionals who would absolutely help you to better understand the benefits of this in any community. However, I'll go ahead with what I had chosen to say. I'm very pleased to hear other people speaking out about this. It really does boil down to personal freedoms. And we all know, you're active in politics, how important that is for every single person. There's absolutely a tax benefit. There's absolutely a need in this community for tax benefits. This is a viable business opportunity. It's going to help everyone. I understand, and I've spoken to the police captain, the sheriff's department. I do understand many of the concerns as to the security, additional crime. I'll just briefly address some of those because I know I'll be limited on time again. Oftentimes, communities have found, and you'll find a lot of research done by the City of Oakland to prove this, that only because they're one of the most active communities involved in this right now. This does take illegal cannabis, marijuana, off the streets and allow it to be taxed, given to verified, legal, and legitimate patients who are sponsored by the state of California. We understand that this is still federally outlawed. You're not federal officials. You understand that. The Sheriff's Department is not a federal organization, and the police departments are certainly not federal organizations. We understand all of those things. It has been considered legal in the state of California for professionals like myself to open a business freely without the fear of uncertainty. I really hope that this decision will not be made tonight based on fear of the unknown. There are a lot of unknown factors, I understand, and it's something that all of you had considered prior to coming here tonight. You may already have a decision made. You may be waiting for people to speak tonight to help form your decision, and I hope that's what it is, because I believe that's how we best represent the people in any endeavor. Very pleased to hear other business people talk about this. I'm a big fan of competition. I think it's very, very important. But I am a big fan also of
30
seconds. 30 seconds is all I need. Thank you so much. Just a quote from John Locke. You guys understand you're into this kind of thing. New opinions are always suspected, as is this, and usually opposed without any other reason but because they are not already common. This is absolutely not common yet, but time will tell if we make the poor decision tonight or a positive decision tonight. Only time will tell. And in 10.5 months, I'll be back here and we'll be doing this again. But we're going to make sure that this is a successful endeavor for all of us. Thank you.
Any other comments? Any other comments for or against item number 6? There are none. I will close the public hearing on item number 6. Any questions or comments? I would entertain a motion. Read the title of the ordinance.
An extension of the urgency interim ordinance of the City of Victorville extending the moratorium on the establishment of medical marijuana dispensaries and on the distribution of medical marijuana at businesses.
Move for approval. Waive further reading.
Second.
Next, we have item number 7. This is a public hearing called to hear arguments for or against introduction of ordinance number 2242. I will now open up the public hearing on item number 7, and I do have some cards. Dan Jeffers.
My name is Dan Jeffers. I lived in Victorville for over 20 years. I'd like to request that the City Council rescind 2242. But the City of Victorville failed to follow the Constitution of the State of California. Article 13D, Section 6, Paragraph 1, mailing out the notices. The notices are to be mailed to the property owners of record. They were mailed to the residents of the addresses. They failed to comply with the Constitution.
Gary Douglas. No, I'm calling for Gary Douglas.
Gary Douglas, once again, Council, Honorable Mayor. I am against 2242, and I'll tell you why. This is the second time as a citizen of Victorville and a homeowner under the auspices of 218, I did not receive a notice. The first time with the water increase, I called the City of Victorville. I informed them of the homeowner that owns the home, which is myself, and this is a continual problem. Now I'm hearing that renters are receiving the notifications instead of the homeowners. You cannot continue to tax and spend. I hear you talking about businesses, we need to take care of those, but we can't take it anymore. We cannot take another $3.43 now and another $3.70 down the road. This has got to stop, and we have to figure out how to stop it here on this council. You guys have been elected to be chosen representatives of the people of Victorville. And I'm here to tell you folks, we are tired of having to pay for the burden of what this city council is doing. It has to stop. And I'm sure many citizens out here will stand up and agree, no more taxing, no more spending. Thank you.
Yvonne Mashak. Yvonne?
I'm back again. I have to agree with the gentleman. We've just been inundated with taxes. I mean, last year you came through and you switched over the trash and water system, and you guys abolished the water board and became the water board. We have enough taxes. You can't keep taxing us. You just can't. There's got to be some way that you were elected to represent us, to help us, to run our city. And you're running us into the ground. That's all I have to say. And I do want to say one last thing. Those of you that are up for re-election, we will remember you.
Gary, I probably can't pronounce this correctly, but I think it's Cablins. Gary?
Gary Koblenz, 16850 Jasmine Street, High Desert Villas. We did not receive legal notice either of this vote, or this hearing, excuse me. So I'd like you to know that. And we're a significant user of your services in this regard. We have 232 units of apartments, and we house senior citizens. with very low to moderate income rents. Some of you may remember when we built it years ago, about 18 years ago. We've had some success over the years. Now times are tough, a lot of vacancy, and costs are going through the roof. So this, I can understand for a homeowner, if it's going to cost them $7.57 more a month for the sewer, and I don't know the percentage increase that is. I haven't even read the ordinance. I first heard about this today, so I came to the meeting. I can understand why they're concerned, but this impacts us just think of this, 1.3% of our gross income is going to this rental, to this sewer fee increase. We're being squeezed by all kinds of increases, vacancies, trying to do our best to house the citizens. If any of you have been there, I'm sure some of you have, you know what a beautiful property is and the services we provide. This is tough. I'd like to say this. We house about 1.25 residents per unit. I don't know the ordinance. I haven't been able to read it, but I would imagine it's the same for every housing unit in the city, which puts an inordinate strain on us because we use less than half the sewer that the average unit, which houses maybe close to 2.5 people per housing unit, would use. As an example, we only have, our tenants don't even have a dishwasher. They hardly cook. They use very little water. Most of ours goes on the landscaping, which we're trying to conserve as much as possible. And also, they only do an average of 4 loads of laundry a month. These aren't families. This is per the income that we generate from our machines. We know this. So here we are, 1.3% of our total gross income is going to go to this increase. I understand. My best understanding is you're kind of caught between a hard spot because there's a contract. It's not the city, but a contract that you have with another entity who's not operating very efficiently, is my understanding. So we're all stuck. We're willing to work with you. We've been here 18 years, done everything we could. But I'd like you to understand that our fair share is something.
10 seconds left, please.
Our fair share is something other than a rate that would be charged to a home that has 2.5 family members and kids and is using that water. So we would like to just pay for our use, please, which is considerably less than others may. Thank you. Is there any questions that you may have of me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak on item number 7, either for or against item number 7? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing, and I would like to ask the attorney to respond to the notice concerns.
Well, I may not be the right one to do that, but the notices are obtained, the addresses for notices are obtained from public records, typically from the county registrar, and the county tax collector who has the address for the mailing of the tax notice and similar data. If there is a notice which does not reach you, then you should advise the city clerk by letter of that fact and indicate the correct address, and that change will be made in future mailings.
Public hearing is closed. Mr. Cox,
Yes,
can
sir.
you speak to the item, the reason why the fee and where it's
Yes.
going?
Mr. Mayor and Council, the City of Victorville is a signatory to a joint powers authority which includes Spring Valley Lake, the county, Apple Valley, Hesperia, and Victorville, and that operates the Victor Valley wastewater plant. These conditions of discharge and treatment are mandated by the state, and in the past, rather than pass on the fees to the entities that would then pass the fees on to the customers, the Victor Valley Wastewater Authority attempted to continue operating and use the funds that were collected in the capital account for the operation and maintenance of that plant. As a result, those were depleted, and also the state has made additional requirements that they upgrade the plant to meet new discharge requirements because they discharge the effluent into the Mojave River. So they made a determination of what it's going to cost to replace the capital money and made a determination on what it's going to cost to treat the sewage. And as a result, they've established the rates that are then sent to the member entities, which in this case is Victorville. The city is then raising the rate, which is a pass-through. None of the money is kept by the city. They will collect the money and they will pass it through the Victor Valley Wastewater Authority, which will then attempt to do two things, or is required to do two things: treat the effluent to adopted state standards so that they can continue operating the plant, and also to replace the money in the capital improvement fund. This plant is also getting old, and I think all of the entities, including Victorville, is looking at the operations to see if it can be more efficient or more effective. But the gentleman was right. We're caught in the middle. We get a bill sent to us. That bill is passed on to the customer. The customer pays the city the money. The money then forwards the money to the Victor Valley Wastewater Authority.
Thank you. I would ask our city clerk for the protest count.
Yes, Mayor Cabrales, the number of properties that were notified of the protest hearing is 23,460, and out of those, we received a total number of protests of 1,369. It is not a majority protest, so it does pass.
Thank you. Question? No, the public hearing is closed. The public hearing is closed, please. The public hearing is closed. You had your opportunity to speak, and the public hearing is closed. We're not going to get into debate.
Of how many people had submitted. Why now do we have a total of only 1,000?
Must go to property owners.
Sir?
They failed to do that.
Sir, you had your time at the podium. Please be quiet. I'll have you removed.
Last time I came here and ordered you to abide by the Constitution. The United States and the Constitution of California.
Okay, we do have item number 7. The protest count has been provided to us, and I would entertain a motion for the introduction of ordinance number 2242.
Mayor Cabrales, I need to read the title of the ordinance.
Yes.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Victorville amending Chapter 10.01 of the Victorville Municipal Code, revising the sewer user fees for the use of the city sewers.
Move to waive further reading.
Second.
For approval.
Item number 8, the request for continuance of case number DV090004, Development Department Fee Study. Mr. Cox?
I don't have any information on this item, Mr. Mayor and Council. Is Mr.
Just a
Webb
continuance?
Yes.
This is just a request for a continuance of the hearing, Mayor Cabrales, but we do need to open the public hearing and take any testimony.
Okay. I will open the public hearing on item number 8. Anyone wishing to address the council, either for or against, or to give us information, please.
It's the department fee study that required another continuance so that we can check the accuracy of the draft numbers that we have. So we're hoping to bring it before you within 2 weeks. That's really it. It's a request for continuance.
I don't hear any opposition to that, so.
Okay.
Now, I keep the public hearing open until?
That's correct, August
our
4th.
next meeting. So the public hearing will remain open until the item comes back to us. Item number 9 is the consent calendar.
Move for approval?
Second.
Mayor Cabrialis, if I might, on the consent calendar, I need to abstain on items K and L.
Okay. Item number 10, the request to adopt staff report that aligns the measures taken to alleviate conditions that led to the adoption of ordinance number 2238.
For approval?
Second.
Item number 11 is a request to award a contract to Converse Consultants in the amount of $75,000 for the geotechnical testing of the SCLA sewer trunk lines.
For approval?
Second.
Number 12, request to adopt resolution number 09062.
Move for approval?
Second.
Item 13, request to approve resolution number 09066.
Move for approval?
Second.
Item 14, request to approve resolution number 09061.
Move for approval?
Second.
Item 15 is a request to adopt resolution number 09067.
Would it, is it yours, Ryan?
That's Brian.
Yeah, the reason I asked that this be on here is that our state legislators should be held to the same standards that we are when it comes to the Brown Act, so that's why I asked that it be put on there.
Second.
I voted, but it doesn't show.
You're not even on there.
Got deleted completely.
Item 16 is a request to approve authorization for the city manager to enter into agreement for the rental of a transformer, 2, to authorize change orders, 3, to construct additional electrical infrastructure improvements, 4, utility services agreement with Plastic Packaging Incorporated, enter into a contract or contracts with Busco Utility Sign Incorporated for additional support services, and 6, retain the services of Brown and Blazing to provide legal services.
For approval?
Second.
Just to, let's vote, but I want to make a comment on this one too. Here's another one of these deals out there at SCLA where we've got a company coming in with some serious jobs, just like Dr. Pepper. These are good paying jobs, and again, as the base develops out there at the airport, SCLA, if you will, these kind of jobs will come here, and I'm very hopeful that this community and this valley, in that matter, will be pulling out of the economic doldrums far faster than the rest of Southern California. So if you've got to be someplace and looking for a job, I think out in the high desert is the place to be. So,
Item 17, presentation of reports from council members. I'll start with Councilman Caldwell.
None.
I have just one comment. I doesn't take any council action, but it's an idea that I've been concerned that we have the write-up here on the information that the Daily Press got a partial feed on some information that was misleading at best, and you can read whatever you want into it. I would like the council on our website to put up a media response point on there as well as another thing, so that as 5 members of the community, as we're out there and you're saying what's going on, and they bring up an issue that runs rather negative in the press, and we've got another side of the story, and we can't seem to be getting it out. And so I would like that we have at least a media response point. It's not directed solely at the Daily Press. It's actually any news media out there that might be misrepresenting something that we're doing, sitting here in the trenches with many hours on our shoulders dealing with those issues, and they get portrayed in some flippant or soundbite way so that it comes off looking stupid, silly, or anything else. At least if you want to cross-check and say, what are we saying about that idea? So a media correction point or something would be nice to have on our website, so that we can say, go to that site there and it's an explanation on that issue. I've got the one here on the $140,000 contract that they failed to mention that was spread from 1999 over until today, and it sounded like it was $140,000 spent all in 1 year. And we got a bunch of these, so I'm keeping a folder from now on, even if you guys don't agree to that. But that's my idea, is that we have a media spot on our website to deal with those type of misrepresentations. My 3 minutes are up.
As I requested at the last council meeting, the council did receive late this afternoon the June financial report. It will be a part of our actual agenda in the future on our second meeting of each month, but it is out there. It's not in draft form, so it is available. I'd like to continue to work with Mr. Robertson in developing this report. I think there's a lot of good information, but I think there's still things that we could be seeing in here, and he's assured me that once we have a new financial reporting software system in place, it'll all be generated itself. It won't have to be something that's put together manually by staff, but in the interim, we do have something that can be provided to us, and so that'll be forthcoming to you on a monthly basis.
Very good. That concludes the meeting. I'd like to thank everyone for being here tonight. For those of you that participated in the public comment, just remember that we have to be respectful of our issues, of how we feel. We have the right to say whatever we want in this country, but we also have a responsibility to respect other people's beliefs or how they feel or what they say. Thank you very much.
There was no reportable action as a result of the City Council closed session held at 5 p.m. Put that on the recording every time now in case.